As you should. What?
Hello. All right, I have Olivia Nelson-Adota and Ty Harris going to take questions in the room. Anybody like to start?
Ty, for you, Steph's talked a lot about feeling like Marina has just gotten more comfortable with you guys and you've gotten comfortable with her. What in a game scenario does that look like for you guys? What do you feel like you're seeing in those connections that you didn't have when she first got here?
I just feel like when the ball's going through the basket, that's when you feel it, honestly. I mean, she can turn it on and shoot at any given moment. So it adds another pressure to the our defenders because you got DB, you got her, you got me, you got Nay. I feel like it is really well balanced.
Maggie?
Ty, you're one of the youngest in that starting lineup. What is it about that core group that allows you just to find your groove easily like you did, especially in the first quarter?
They ain't gonna let me rest, boy. They stay on me 24/7 every day, and I appreciate it. I mean, they're legends. They have a legacy, and I came in here and they welcomed me and they gave me confidence every day.
Highs and lows of the season, but heading into the postseason, what defines this group?
I think just for us, making sure all the little details are taken care of. I think we remember this position last year, just getting ready for that first round, and really just trying to take it game by game. I think the coaches put an emphasis on that. I think us players realize that. And especially with the matchup coming up, I think it's just important to really hone in on what we need to do, better this series and just what we're able to lock into. So I think we're all just looking forward to it. We're anticipating this first round, but it's just going back to the drawing board and practice and locking in on those little details that we need to be successful.
For both of you, Indiana coming to town on Sunday, obviously there's going to be some added attention because of Caitlin Clark. Any added pressure facing them in the first round?
I mean, I think it's pressure just in general because it's the playoffs and these games are crucial. It's a 3-game series and we need to win, honestly. But it's exciting to see that we play them and we play them our first game too. So it's going to be a full circle. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Going off of what Ty said, just kind of like that full circle moment, just looking back at the beginning of the season to now. And I think us just reflecting on our season, I think as a team, we've come so far. And I think we're just really excited to really put that together just for a playoff run.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have head coach Stephanie White going to do a quick statement, taking questions in the room. Go ahead, Steph.
Proud of our team. I thought it was a really good effort, consistent effort. Particularly in the second half, defensively, we were really good. I mean, I think we held them to 7 for 30 from the floor. We didn't have any letdown and we kept our foot on the gas, and that's what we needed to do, especially to gain momentum heading into the playoffs.
Steph, coming off of back-to-back losses, how much does it do for your confidence to really blow a team out like this, even if they're shorthanded?
Yeah, I mean, it does a lot. Certainly, I'm not sure, what our numbers have been, but we haven't had back-to-back losses very often throughout the course of the year. But certainly when it's the last game heading into playoffs, you want to make sure that you have some momentum. I thought everybody that came in, gave us good quality production. Certainly positive in the plus minus is a big deal. I thought Liv came in and gave us some really good minutes early, especially. And then it's important to build confidence and build the depth in our bench, heading into the playoffs, because in a series, you're going to need it. And I thought everybody that came in made a positive impact.
Maggie?
Ty was huge for you guys in the first. She just said it earlier or just now that, it's the starters really being her ear the whole entire time, not just in the games, but just throughout the season, giving her confidence. What did you like, especially from her today in this game?
I like that she was hunting shots. I want her to hunt shots for 4 quarters. Certainly, that's kind of the journey for her. But I like that she was hunting shots early. She's lethal in that mid range, and certainly she can spread the floor, and we need her to be aggressive on the offensive end. So I certainly like that. She played with a lot of confidence, and we need that from her.
CZ?
Highs and lows throughout this season. What moments of this group that stand out to you that define this group?
I guess I think back to, one of our games at Washington, maybe the first time we played at Washington, and we weren't playing very well. We got down early. And that's the game that V came in and really just changed the momentum of the game. And I think at that point, building confidence in our bench and building confidence in our depth, finding ways to win and come back from, a tough deficit at that point. To me, that was a big growth area for us. Staying together, through that adversity. I think we've had lots of moments. I mean, being able to win tight games, finding different ways to win and getting production from multiple people. So that game always just stands out in my mind because it could have went either way. And our bench came in and carried us, and that was important for us.
Vicky?
Steph, before you were talking about Dejanay as like the juice of the team, and you've said before how like some of the players on the team don't play like with as much emotion, and she kind of does. Does she bring that like to the locker room, to the bench? Like she always says like, oh, keeping it real, but like does that appreciated by everybody? Like she seems to be, she gets along with everybody. Is that like, does she bring that same personality like off the floor and then into the game?
Oh yeah, Nay's all energy. She's the juice. I mean, she's our player that can get up and down the floor. She's got terrific athleticism. She's just got a burst that no one else on our team has. And because of that, and because of her intensity, the ability to change a game, and from start to finish, we've continued to need that from her. And, I thought again, she was terrific, and she did, lots of different things. Her 12 boards, getting on the offensive glass. I mean, that was huge for us. And, she was, again, just another outstanding effort.
Do you laugh when you're around here a lot?
Do I laugh?
Yeah. Like, or do you like eye roll?
I don't know. Oh, I think it depends. Coaches are kind of moody sometimes. So, it really depends on what kind of mood I'm in. There are days when she makes me laugh. There are days when she makes me cry. There are days when I'm like, I feel like a parent. No, but really she is, she is real and authentic. And I think that's one of the things that I appreciate the most about her. And she doesn't care, and I think from that standpoint, people like her, not just players like her, but people like her lead with authenticity. And I wish we had more of that. Yeah, I wish we had more of that.
And just lastly, you guys play Indiana on Sunday. Obviously, they're so vastly improved over the second half of the season. Like, any initial thoughts to facing them?
You're not even gonna let me enjoy this one? Yeah, I mean, they're obviously a really good team. And I think I remember sitting up here, after game 1 or game 3, we played them, and I'm like, they're going to be just fine, right? Like, they just have to grow. They're young, and then they've got to figure it out, and they've got to learn to play together. And they have. They're playing incredibly well. Certainly when you talk about the job that Kelsey and Caitlin have done from a perimeter standpoint, I mean, they're a backcourt combo that is really tough to match up with. And then you have Aaliyah Boston on the interior, certainly what Melissa brings, and Lexi Hull from an energy standpoint and knocking down shots. They're playing really confident basketball. They're playing well together. They're a tough matchup. And, Becky Hammond had it right. Like, you can't outscore that team, right? You got to be able to lock down defensively. You've got to be able to give them different looks because they're smart players. And when they get a beat, they're going to pick you apart. So we got to be able to give them different looks. We got to be locked in, and we got to be consistent for 40 minutes. Christy's done an outstanding job with that group, and they've continued to stay the course. And it's a lot of credit to their maturation and her leadership.
Emily?
Just sticking with Indiana a little bit.
See, come on, guys.
But what do you feel like you guys learned from that loss that you had in the second half of the season to them coming into a playoff series?
Well, I think we can't ever, I say this a lot to our players, like you have to respect everyone and fear no one, right? Like you have to have a respect for every team that you play. You've got to know that teams are going to grow, that players are going to get better, that teams are going to get better. And we had lapses in that game on both ends of the floor, but particularly offensively, that we didn't probably as a staff adjust quick enough to some of the things that they were doing to us. And we've got to have an intensity about us for 40 minutes. Like this is the playoffs. Like it is, it's in a series, you've got to be able to give different looks. You've got to be able to make quality plays. You've got to be able to use your bench and get production. But at the end of the day, it's win or go home, and you don't have the margin for error that you have in the regular season. So hopefully, for us, it's learning a sense of urgency and playing our standard for 40 minutes.
Maggie?
It's a quick turnaround, only 2 days in between. It's not new at the W. You guys have always had a tight turnaround. What are the biggest challenges as a coach then to get your team to digest the regular season finale and then kind of shift gears into the playoff mentality?
Yeah, it's always the same. It's the combination of rest, especially for veteran teams, and prep. I think certainly Indiana's a different team than, but we've seen them in the second half. And for us, just making sure that we balance out those two things and that we're able to give them, the looks that we want on both ends of the floor, that we're able to lock in, as a group, and really having those conversations like, we got to be locked in. We got to be ready to go. Like we've got to approach our film session and our practice or walkthrough, whatever it ends up being. If it's not physically taxing, mentally, you got to be sharp. We don't have time to have letdowns. And so just reiterating that to them, but they're a veteran group, again, it's like they get it. They get where we are. They get what's at stake.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.